To bring you some breaking news. That is that police on Merseyside have said that the man charged over July's attacks in Southport is now facing a separate terror charge. Axel Rudakubana, pictured here when he was much younger, has been charged with the production of biological toxin ricin. Also been charged with the possession of information likely to be used for someone to commit terrorism. Our Chief North of England correspondent, Greg Milam, joins me now from Liverpool. Greg, what are the police saying today?
Well, we already knew that Axel Rudakubana was facing those 3 murder charges for the death of Alice Aguiar, BB King and Elsie Stankham, 10 charges of attempted murder as well. Today, Merseyside Police and the Crown Prosecution Service confirming that they've been authorised to put those other 2 charges against him in a spirit of being an open and transparent. They say that charge of the production of a biological toxin, namely ricin, and also the possession of information, namely a PDF called Military Studies in Jihad Against the Tyrants, the Al-Qaeda Training Manual, a document they say likely to be used by someone looking to prepare an act of terrorism. Now, the police say they wanted to reassure the community that still the focus is on getting justice for those victims, but giving some detail about what was found in searches at the suspect's home. The Chief Constable of Merseyside, Serena Kennedy, flanked by officials in health and science from the government as well, giving this update a short time ago.
Today, the Crown Prosecution Service has authorised Axel Rudakubana, aged 18, from Lancashire, to be charged with 2 further offences. Axel Rudakubana already faces 3 charges of murder, 10 charges of attempted murder and 1 charge of possession of a knife, all relating to the incident at Hart Street on the 29th of July 2024. The 2 further offences relate to evidence obtained by Merseyside Police during searches of Axel Rudakubana's home address as part of a lengthy and complex investigation which has been ongoing since the 29th of July. The additional charges are the production of a biological toxin, namely ricin, contrary to Section 1 of the Biological Weapons Act 1974, and possession of information, namely a PDF file entitled Military Studies in the Jihad Against the Tyrants, the Al-Qaeda Training Manual, likely to be useful to a person committing or preparing to commit an act of terrorism, contrary to Section 58 of the Terrorism Act 2000. Rudakubana will appear at Westminster Magistrates Court by video link tomorrow. Following announcement of further charges, today, I want to reassure the communities of Southport and the communities of Merseyside that we are committed to getting justice for the families of BB, Elsie and Alice, the 10 victims who were injured at Hart Street and the other 16 people who were present on that day. We are also committed to being open and transparent with our communities. However, I am sure you will appreciate that we also need to make sure that we do not prejudice this trial. You may have seen speculation online that the police are deciding to keep information from the public. This is certainly not the case. We have been given extensive guidance by the Crown Prosecution Service in relation to what we can say publicly to ensure the integrity of the court proceedings are protected, and therefore we are restricted in what we can share with you now the proceedings are live. Following the events of Monday the 29th of July, searches of Axel Rudakubana's home address resulted in an unknown substance being found. Testing confirmed the substance as ricin. We have worked extensively with partners to establish that there was a low to very low risk to the public, and I want to make that reassurance clear today. I can also tell you that there was no ricin present at Hart Street. When ricin was discovered, all necessary steps were taken so that we could be sure that no one was at risk. This was a multi-agency response. Expert advice and guidance was received and adhered to throughout the investigation. In the days following, Merseyside Police worked extensively with our partners, including Merseyside Fire and Rescue Service, North West Ambulance Service, Sefton Council, West Lancashire Borough Council, Counter-Terrorism Policing North West, Counter-Terrorism Policing Headquarters, the UK Health Security Agency, the Crown Prosecution Service, NHS England, the National CBRN Centre, the Defence Science and Technology Laboratory and the Ministry of Defence to identify if there was any risk to victims, local communities and specialist professionals in attendance at Hart Street and Old School Close. At this point, it's particularly appropriate to recognise the support that we've had from our colleagues in the emergency services, local authorities and counter-terrorism policing. That support has included forensic experts and digital investigators, and that support has been in place since the initial stages of the investigation and continues. I want to reassure our communities that we will continue to work in partnership with all of our partners, and we are absolutely committed to keeping our communities safe. At this time, counter-terrorism policing has not declared the events of the 29th of July a terrorist incident. I recognise that these new charges may lead to speculation. The matter for which Axel Rudakubana has been charged under the Terrorism Act does not require motive to be established. For a matter to be declared as a terrorist incident, motivation would need to be established. I would strongly advise anyone against speculating as to the motivation in this case. The criminal proceedings against Axel Rudakubana are live and he has a right to a fair trial. It is extremely important that there is no reporting, commentary or sharing of information online that could prejudice these proceedings. I want to remind everyone that the trial is scheduled for January next year. Since the 29th of July, my officers and staff have been working diligently in conjunction with colleagues from counter-terrorism, and they are continuing to assess evidential material which we have recovered to ensure all the evidence is available to the Crown Prosecution Service and the details of the case will come out in court. My plea is to be patient. Don't engage in rumour and speculation. Don't believe everything you read on social media. We must not lose sight of the families of Elsie, Bibi and Alice who are still grieving, and the families and those victims who were present at Hart Street on the 29th of July. We need to do the right thing to ensure that the justice process is not prejudiced. Thank you.